welcome back to Easy Cooking with Linda B. The other day when I went into work, my coworker, Leah, who I call my sister, was excited. And I said, "What's going on?" And she said, "Last night Sean made something different." I said, "Oh yeah, what?" And she said he made sloppy Joe and he put it inside a puff pastry. I said, "Really?" She goes, "Yeah." And she goes, "It was delicious." I said, "Well, tell me more." So she told me how he made it. And now I'm going to show you my version of this. He used his from a can, but I'm going to show you how I make it using all the ingredients that I have here at home. Okay, so what I have here in my saute pan is 1 pound of 90-10 ground beef. And what I want to do with this is I want to break it up into a crumble, not necessarily a fine crumble, but something small enough to work with. Okay, so now I've been cooking this and I did remove some fat. Some fat is good, but not too much. But it looks really good right here. So now I'm going to add some of my favorite flavors. Here I have olive bruschetta. Now this comes in a jar. Now you don't have to use this, but I like it because it has, peppers and capers and a lot of flavoring in it. Otherwise, you can get a jar of olives, drain them, and put it right in here. But I'm going to use this since I have it and I want to use it up. I don't want to waste it. So I'm putting that in. Okay. And then I have here salsa verde. This is also great. It's going to give it a little bit of that tangy flavor I'm looking for too. Here what I'm adding in is regular salsa. This is mild salsa flavoring. And then also I'm going to add in a few pimentos, which are actually just soaking in water. I could use a whole jar if I want, but I prefer not to. I think what I have there is enough. Okay, now before I stir this all together, I'm going to take some tomato paste and squeeze maybe about a tablespoon in there. Now I'm going to mix everything together. Now, before I go too much further, I'd like to also add some seasoning. So in here, I'm going to add some basil. Just a sprinkling of that. And some Italian seasoning. And I will add just a little bit of salt because there are the capers in the bruschetta. And pepper. Do you want to add that in? And I think what I'd like to do is add just a little bit more of the tomato paste. So I would say probably all together it'd be about 2 tablespoons. Okay, I'm going to get this all mixed up and I'll come back and I'll show you what I do next. All right, so my hamburger mixture is done. So what I'm going to do here is let it cool just for a little bit. As you can see, it's still steaming hot. All right, over here in my baking tray, I have it lined with parchment paper, is 1 layer of puff pastry. What I want to do, and it's still just a tiny bit cold, which is good, is I'm going to dock it or pierce it with my fork. And that looks pretty good right there. I think we've got it. So what I'm going to do now is take some mild cheddar cheese, and I'm going to take a handful of it and sprinkle it in here. And then just mix it. Okay, so I think what I will do is add a little more to it. I like the way it's holding the hamburger together and it's getting kind of stringy, which is what I want. This looks pretty well mixed together. So now what I will do is scoop it onto my puff pastry. So I'm just going to fill this up And I'm not going to bring it completely to the edge because I need to put more cheese on top and then another layer of puff pastry and seal it. Okay, so now I'm just squaring off the hamburger. The next part is just to load it up with cheese, as much as cheese you want and whatever type of cheese you want to use. Okay, and now I'm going to take my next layer of puff pastry and place it on top like that. And now what I'm going to do is press this down onto the bottom puff pastry and I'm going to pinch them together. So I'm going to work on this and then when I get it all sealed up, I'll be right back and I'll show you what I do next. Okay, so now I've got this all tucked in together. I even flipped up the edge just a little bit so that'll seal it beautifully. And now I want to dock it a little bit to release that steam that will build up. And of course, just like any other puff pastry, you want to do an egg wash. So I'm going to brush this all over the top. It's going to crisp up this puff pastry. And also I'm putting the egg wash in where I had folded the seams together just to help keep them in place. My oven is preheated already at 375 degrees convection, but if you use regular bake, set it at 400. I'm going to put it in the oven starting out for about 15-20 minutes. I'll check it and then I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's done. So here it is, hot out of the oven. It looks fabulous, just like Leah said it would. So now I got to let it cool before I cut into it, and then I'm going to taste it and see if it's as good as Leah said it is. Sean, I'll let you know, and I'll be honest. I'll be right back. So here they are, cut up into wedges. This is perfect for a party. If you want to just snack, it's okay even for a meal. I think that's what Leah and Sean did. Now I'm tasting. Oh, that looks good too. Nice crisp on the puff pastry. Here we go. Yeah, Leah, you're right. Sean, outstanding. So I hope you enjoyed watching me make these really fun and delicious puff pastry sloppy joes. And remember, everyone, enjoy life and never stop learning. Bye now.